welcome to this special on-site edition of Wolves Weekly. Joining me today, after a pretty historic weekend, we have baseball coach Jeremiah Robbins. Coach Robbins, man, what an exciting weekend out here. Not just that you were able to win 3 games over LC State, but the way that they were done. Talk to me a little bit about this series, and actually, I think you really have to start with game 1 to set up the importance and the significance of these victories for the rest of the series.
Yeah, you know, obviously to get LC State on our schedule is an exciting time for us to get them over here at our place. And, you know, we've played them numerous times throughout since I've been here as the head coach. And to get a 4-game series over here with them was phenomenal for us. And, you know, game 1 is always a tough way to come out. And, you know, Mike Ward, I thought Mike pitched very well. I thought we should have been more offensive for him. Tip my hat to their guy they threw, Pogmeyer. He pitched it very well against us and shut our hitters down with 3 different pitches. And you know, we didn't have any answers for Pogmeyer, but you know, they extended the lead there in the 9th and made it a 10-1 game and kind of kicked us around a little bit. So we had a good little meeting after the game and said come back a different team on Saturday, and boy did we ever. I was very proud of how we went and competed in the box, and obviously the pitching takes care of itself when you go back-to-back shutouts against an LC State team. And we just battled on Saturday. Absolutely battled against a very, very good club and found ways to get a few runs across the board in both those games and came out on the good side. Defended it very well behind our pitchers. And that was something that had kind of bit us early in our season, that we were looking for our guys to just come out and play the game, play solid defensively, pitch it, and compete in the batter's box, and then check the scoreboard after the game's over. And boy, we did that for 16 innings, and we were on the good side at the end. And obviously Sunday, I like the focus we came out with Sunday, and I think the LC was down a little bit on Sunday, and we weren't. We were ready to play, and came out and put 12 runs on them and pitched another shutout. So. It was a good effort by our kids all the way around. Very impressed with how we pitched it and defended it, though. I was happy for our club.
I don't want to sit here and just read stats about it, but I think some of these ones are worth reading out of this one. Some of those pitchers had. Grady Wood in game 2 wins a 1-0 game, which that's as tough as it is right there. Faces 1 batter over the minimum, gives up just 2 hits, 5 strikeouts. I mean, that's an incredible feat right there. And following suit, Cam Nobles in the second game of that doubleheader pitches 6 innings in the 7-inning game. Only 4 hits allowed and 5 strikeouts to win 2-0 out of those ones. And not just that you guys won the games, but you guys really manufactured those runs, it seemed like. You didn't leave a lot of runners on base. You took advantage of when you did, and you guys had a couple big hits, one of those being Daniel Dillard and things like that.
Absolutely. Looking at how Grady pitched, he's had some good outings this year where he could have did what he did on Saturday. But the mentality piece wasn't there for him. And finally he showed up and enjoyed the game of baseball. And one thing Grady does, he grinds on himself pretty hard. He's a very tough critic on himself, and he tries to be a perfectionist out there, and he just let it go. And that was finally what we've been wanting to see out of him, and that carried over to Cam, and Cam did the same thing. His last game over at NAIA, his arm got tied on him, so we had to take him out of the game, and he had a very, very good week of preparation heading into this weekend. And I was very proud of how he kind of embraced the situation for this weekend, and learned from taking care of that arm in between starts is a must. And he took very good care of his arm going into his start on Saturday, and came out and pitched very well. And both those guys are going to be huge for us down the stretch. Kirkland coming in the back end there and going 3 hits in 7 innings is phenomenal, as we are still transitioning him over to a starter from that closer role. He's bought in full go on it. He loves to pitch. He doesn't care where he's at, the back end or the front end. He just goes out there and pitches it.
And I know from a fan perspective when I was here this weekend, it's weird when you see 1 run on the board. Sometimes you're kind of shaky. Other times, it's like having that ace on the mound. You just knew you were in good shape, and to me that's what it felt like this whole time. I mean, with Wood, you felt like 1 run was just enough. Whoever was the one to score first. And really, this momentum, you're hoping to take it into this following weekend, which sets you up for another huge series against Saint Martin's, who is currently leading the GNAC. Right now, they're actually up 3 games. They've played more total games in the GNAC season this year. They have a doubleheader today against Montana State Billings, but just talk to me a little bit about that series. You're going to see kind of your 3rd look at Saint Martin's this season, but just the importance, and now kind of it's kind of like the tables have turned. These last couple of years, you guys have really been the ones that have been chased down, and now you guys have to go in from behind and look to take some games from them.
Sure. We know who we're playing. We know Saint Martin's is very good. They've got 4 lefty arms, which has kind of been our nemesis in the past. And we got to go out and play at the same emotion and desire that we played with this weekend. You know, the score is going to take care of itself. It's the team that competes the hardest and, you know, makes the plays defensively and throws pitches that are strikes. And if we can do that consistently, I like our chances. You know, this is a good weekend coming off of this with LC to, you know, hopefully this team has seen what it can do when it prepares the right way and has the right mindset when they come to the yard. And it's going to be a dogfight against St. Martin's. Obviously, you know, they're hot right now. Be interesting to see how the doubleheader goes with Billings today. But, you know, it is what it is. It's another league game for us, and we're chasing down that title. And we really want that GNAC title. And, you know, we're going to prepare our guys this week the right way and find a way to get it done.
Fantastic. I know you are always all about the team, and you would not talk about the individual at all, but I'm going to take that one on right now. We usually like to always give credit to Western Oregon student athletes who have a great week, get GNAC Player of the Week. Unfortunately, right now, as we mentioned before, the St. Martin's and Montana State Billings are playing today, so that has not been announced. Truthfully, I'd probably give it to the entire Western Oregon starting staff. However, I know the way it's done, it'll probably go to an individual starter, but it was a great job by them this whole weekend, and really, like I said, I thought that was the shining beacon of the weekend and really propelled West Oregon to a historic win. So thank you all for joining me and Coach Jeremiah Robbins on location this week, and thank you for watching this edition of Wolves Weekly.